What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new video, so let's get into it. So guys, today we're going to be talking about why StarCraft 3 and WarCraft 4 should exist. So let's talk about it. So I've been getting some comments over the past few days, guys, about WarCraft and StarCraft in particular, simply because we've been making some content based around the talks of WarCraft 4, the talks of a StarCraft 3, and so I screenshotted a couple of these for you. So the first one is StarCraft is substantially faster paced with a much heavier emphasis on macro, whereas WarCraft leans more on micro, maximizing unit value and obviously heroes and items. Both at their core are built around economy, army, and tech decisions, but are expressed in such drastically different ways that you can play both without feeling any overlap. I play both and will continue to do so after Reforged is released. So this is the first part of this video, guys, that I want to talk about. Reasons why StarCraft 3 and WarCraft 4 should exist is because a lot of people do play real-time strategy games, will play a variety of them. They won't just play one. A lot of people do just play one real-time strategy game, but there are a lot of casual gamers that like to play multiple real-time strategy games. So the fact of the matter is that simply because Blizzard owns the real-time strategy genre, if they make a WarCraft 4 and a StarCraft 3, people are going to play both of those. And I would think that Blizzard is going to split StarCraft 3 and WarCraft 4 apart like a decent amount. I would say probably by a couple of years at least. But there is, of course, that possibility that they could even come out relatively close together, like a year or 2 years between the two of them. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, just because I believe that people are going to be playing. There's going to be the huge StarCraft lovers, but I think that they may even try WarCraft 4 out, and the same can go for WarCraft to StarCraft. And so I don't think that they're both very different in their own suggested games, but however, they are both real-time strategy games, and I think that there is certainly a lot there that we can take and kind of enjoy from each game. So WarCraft 3 Reforged is going to be coming out in the foreseeable future, similar to what StarCraft did with StarCraft Remastered. They made a StarCraft Remastered game, and so I would say that this is just kind of showing that the next phase is probably coming at some point or another. I was saying that StarCraft 3, I believe, could very well be announced at BlizzCon 2019, maybe BlizzCon 2020, and I think the same can even be said for WarCraft 4. There's a possibility that it's going to get announced in the next couple of years, but the fact of the matter is, guys, is that we have to be the ones who echo these games into existence, because the fact of the matter is, guys, is that if both these games are announced and they both come out, it just gives us so much more content that we can take in and just so many more hours of enjoyment and such, because it just feels like we haven't had a WarCraft game in a very long time. And then StarCraft, even at that, the last expansion of StarCraft 2 was StarCraft 2 A Legacy of the Void, which came out in 2015. So it's still been a decent amount of time. I would love to see both these games for sure announced. The next comment comes into a little bit more of some negative feedback, but I definitely want to talk about it, guys, is there's no money in real-time strategies, so Blizzard has no incentive. World of Warcraft has monthly subs, Overwatch and Hearthstone have microtransactions, and RTS nets Blizzard a flat $60. Their other franchises easily double the money they get from players. You just got to be real about how business works and how Blizzard CFO is going to best allocate spending for the best return on investment for the shareholders. You won't see a new RTS for years, if ever. WarCraft 3 Reforged is just a pretty remake. It costs much less in terms of production. StarCraft 3 or WarCraft 4 would be a major monetary investment for Blizzard, and the company is floundering at the moment. So I definitely want to talk about this, guys. This is a very true statement when you look at it from a few different angles. However, I do want to break it down a little bit. So I'm a shareholder in Activision Blizzard, and I totally see where this comment is coming from as far as Blizzard gets a flat $60 from a real-time strategy game. However, that of course could easily change. I mean, in my opinion, if I'm Blizzard and you're trying to incorporate figuring out ways to make more money in a real-time strategy game, why can't they just do similar to what they do in, say, Hearthstone or Overwatch or Call of Duty? You can always add new skins to a real-time strategy. I think microtransactions, as if they are implemented in a way that doesn't take advantage of the consumer and is dealt with in a responsible way, I think that they're fine. And I would be completely open to a StarCraft 3 and a WarCraft 4 for them to exist with microtransactions, as long as they are not completely consumed by the microtransactions. We, up to this point, have, with StarCraft 2, we have the war chest, which of course everyone you can purchase the war chest, and what that will end up doing is it will create a pool of money that is used for the esports side of StarCraft 2 or the WCS. And I think that's a great thing, but I would love to see more of that just to help the game, create a little bit more profits for the company so that they want to make more games in the future. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing that, simply because we look at all these other communities and a lot of people don't like the microtransaction systems. But I think if there's a microtransaction system that is incorporated, that isn't just out to prey on the consumer, I believe that and if it's dealt with, like I said, responsibly, I wouldn't have any issue with it being in a StarCraft 3 or a WarCraft 4 if that means that both or one of those games exist. I look at StarCraft 3 as well as WarCraft 4. It would be a big investment for Blizzard, but I think that it would pay off. I mean, we look at over the course of time, you look at StarCraft 2 and the number of copies it sold, 6 million copies. And, it's still making money to this day based on like whether it's the war chest or if you're talking about different co-op commanders. There's all kinds of different ways that they can still create money and value for the consumer. But I just think that a StarCraft 3 would continue the franchise, and the same thing with WarCraft 4. It would continue the franchise. It would build upon the lore that the first games started. And I just think that Blizzard is a big enough company where they can work on multiple things at once. I mean, obviously, we all assume they're working on Diablo 4 right now. We're assuming they're working on Overwatch 2. They've got a team that's still working on, StarCraft 2 as far as the esports side and, the patches and all of that. They're working on all these different things. So I believe that they could still begin the process of getting a StarCraft 3 and a WarCraft 4 out there. It may still be a few years, who knows? But I just don't think that Blizzard should look at it from the standpoint of, all we're making is $60, because they could easily incorporate microtransactions into an RTS game just like they do into a shooter, just like you can into an RPG. Any other game out there can incorporate microtransactions. And when we talk about Blizzard, we're talking about one of the most creative developers in the world, so why wouldn't they be able to? And Activision and the higher-ups over there obviously have found many ways of being able to get people to purchase microtransactions, so there's no indication to me that why can't they add microtransactions in the future to RTS games. But what it all comes down to, guys, in my opinion, is reasons why these games need to exist is to continue the lore, to continue that legacy that these games have started for us, these massive fan bases that are yearning and hoping for another installment of the franchise. There's a lot of people out there that want to see these games made, but no one's talking about it. That's why we're talking about it here on this channel. And I hope you guys will come on this journey with me as we try to get these games made. Be the voice of these games and have, echo these games into existence, because Blizzard has said in the past that if we want to see a future WarCraft and a future StarCraft game made, we have to be the ones who want that, and we have to echo those things into existence. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you guys did, make sure you guys leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.